Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and thanks for joining me for another video. This is Marquita from At Home with Kita, and here I share tips on how to plan a balanced life. So if you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. So today I'm sharing the next video in my Planner University series, which is going to cover how to set up your planner so that you will actually use it. So let's get into it. So if your current planner isn't working for you, or perhaps your planner is about to run out and you're setting up a new system, even if this is your first time using a planner or you are a seasoned veteran, today I'm going to share tips to help you get started setting yourself up for success when it comes to your planner. So here's my 6-step process. Step 1, pick a planner. If you don't already have your planner, you'll need to choose your favorite size, layout, and cover style. The idea here is to customize your planner to fit your life. And I know there are so many choices, so if you're feeling confused on which path to take, check out the first 2 videos in this series. Step 2, select your favorite planner supplies, and we're talking covers, dashboards, discs, pins, and everything in between. Within each of those categories, you're going to find an array of styles, colors, materials, and more. The options are endless. Stationery companies are popping up left and right, which is super fun. If you're not the decorating type, don't worry, you're not alone. Just work with simple and neutral pages, and if you plan to print out your inserts, don't forget the punch. So here are some things you'll want to gather: discs, a cover, choose your calendar style, dashboards if you plan on sectioning your planner, and you'll also need labels to go with that if they don't have any on them already. Choose your pens, highlighter, pin loops, pocket folders, and accessories like pocket cards, sticky notes, vellum, paper clips to really jazz things up. So of course, you know I like to show you things in motion, so we're going to head on over to my overhead view and we're going to put together a planner, and I'm going to share with you some basics on a surface level of how to assemble your planner in order to really develop a great system. So your typical planners are going to come either coil bound or they're going to come disc bound, already set up and ready to go for you with the calendar in the inside, or bound in some other way. So while these are great options and they can be used as a basic foundation for creating a planner that's going to work for you, some of them not so much because they're stuck the way they are. So you can't disassemble this, and you can disassemble the coil bound planners, but it takes a lot of work. The disc bound system that's already ready to go is a perfect option because although it is already assembled for you, you can still open it up and remove pages and move things around. That's why I find disc bound is just the way to go. There's also hole punch options, but those typically come as just inserts that you'll stick in your planner. So those are great options for being able to fully customize your planner as well. So these are the typical options, the most popular options. Again, when it comes to hole punch, that's typically going to be offered in A5 size, and it'll just come with the inserts just like this, already punched and ready for you to insert in whatever cover of your choosing. So now that you've seen the most popular options, we are going to go ahead and set up our very own disc bound system. I find that the disc bound system is just the easiest in terms of customizing from start to finish. Again, you could start with a Happy planner that's already disc bound, or Martha Stewart planner, any of those, or an ARC disc bound system that is available at Staples. They're already pre-assembled for the most part, and you can just remove things and move things around as needed. So we're gonna set up a disc bound planner because that is just my thing. So we're just gonna set up a basic planner just to share with you how easy it is to assemble a disc bound system that is fully customized to your needs. So I've got a planner here. I've also got some divider dashboards. I have a pocket folder and pouch. I also have some vellum. Again, we talked about all of these different categories of accessories that you'll want to gather in order to really get things set up the way you want it to look. I also have a pen. You're going to need something to write with, so grab your favorite utensil. I have some paper clips. Of course, you're going to need discs. I have a pin loop. I also have inserts in the desired style, and I have a pocket folder, and I have a journaling card. Normally our journaling cards come in a pack of multiple, but I just grabbed one just as an accent. So this is an example of some items that you can gather to put together your planner on a basic level. But of course, you'll probably tweak things over time if you're like me, and you'll add other accessories, maybe notepads, other journaling cards, there's all kind of things, you guys. So take a look at our shop. We do have things broken down by type, and you can kind of look in those collections to see if there's anything you want to add to your planner setup, or you can look at the other variety of companies out there that have tons of goodies for you to really get this thing set up aesthetically, and you're going to love the way it looks, and therefore you're going to use it more. So let's move this to the side, and I'll share with you what you do first. So the first thing is going to start with a great cover. Now, this happens to be a neutral cover. You could pick up a colorful cover if you're more of that sort of person. I tend to lean towards the neutral vibe. I also love stacking my cover with vellum so I could see it through the backside, and that kind of serves as my, colorfulness if I decide to do something colorful in terms of vellum, and I can switch it out and I still have this basic cover here. So you're going to need a cover first. Again, I'm just showing you a basic setup just so you can get an idea of how easy it is to set up your planner, especially if it's something you've been putting off and you've just been overwhelmed by all the things. This is just a basic setup, and you can add to it as needed. So you open up your cover like this, and then you're going to need your discs. Again, there's so many variety of discs out there. Choose what works for you. These happen to be clear plastic discs. There are metal discs. We do have a wide variety of those as well. Everything from rose gold to silver to black. We've got it all, and there's a lot out there on the market. So you're literally just going to take it like this. This is one way that you could put it on. I think the Happy Planner even has some sort of guide that you can put the cover in to be able to easily add them to your discs, or you can close the cover like this and do 2 at a time. It is a little bit more tricky to get them in there, but it saves you a little bit of time. So this is the basic foundation, a cover and your discs. And that is going to look different for everyone. This is a half letter cover setup. So half letter has 8 discs, mini has 7 discs, classic has 9 discs, and big has 11 discs, and there's lots of other sizes in between. So make sure to check out my first 2 videos. In the first video, I do share with you all of the sizes so you can find one that fits you best, and you'll know exactly how that's gonna look and what you'll need from there. So this is the basic setup. From here, you wanna go ahead and add in your planner inserts. Again, if you're doing something like this, so if you've got a setup like this that's already ready-made with their discs and everything on it, you want to keep the cover and discs together. You literally just pull out all of the inside guts to the planner, and then you'll start from there, and that will give you or get you to this point, and then you'd build from that point. And this typically all it would have is just your calendar inserts with the divider tabs, and so you'll just pull out 1 or 2 months, maybe 3 months, and then add that to here first, because that's what we're going to do. The beauty of this sort of system is that you're building it from the ground up. So this is going to be the most customizable system, and so I can really drill down and get this thing set up the way I want it to. And there are so many companies out there who offer printables ready-made to be shipped out to you. You could also print them out like I mentioned before, but if you're going to do that, you're going to need a slicer, and you're also going to need a punch, whether that be a disc punch like you see here, or whether that is a hole punch. This is A5. A5 can be punched for disc, and half letter can be punched for holes. So it's just a matter of preference, because there is a sizing issue and you want to make sure that you get the appropriate items that you'll need. So in this particular case, when it comes to this that's already hole punched and packaged and ready for you, you'll need a separate planner cover. So keep that in mind. It's going to look completely different from this. And again, just to reiterate, if you're doing something like this that is already bound, there is nothing you can do about it. It is stuck the way it is. You can't move anything around. And so this is the most restrictive, but there's still some great options for bound planners. All right, so we've gotten to this point, and so now we'll go ahead and open up our inserts. Now, if you want to go ahead and add the entire year, you can do that. I happen to like a lot of other sections within my planner, so I don't typically add the whole entire year, but I'll show you how to add them to discs, and we'll just set it up as if I did want to add the whole entire year so you can see how that would look. So it's so easy to add them to the discs. As you see here, you just want to grab a small quantity of them and slowly add them onto the discs here. And so I grab about this much, seems to be a reasonable amount. And you'll just press them right on the discs. And the more you get on the discs, the less wobbly they become. Initially on, as you can see, it's very, very wobbly. So you'll want to make sure that you add enough to the discs, especially depending on size of the discs, so that way they won't move around like you just saw. These are your standard classic size discs. We have 3 different disc sizes in the shop. A smaller one for like mini, then we have the classic size, and then we have what we call our expander size discs, which are a little bit smaller than Happy Planner expander size discs. And I love those the most because sometimes I feel like expander discs are just a little bit too big. And so you have a size in between. So this is the vertical line layout. I really love this layout. I also talked about in a previous video all of the layouts that are offered within our shop and some that you've seen that are pretty popular throughout others. And so check that video out if you need some help with determining what layout is going to work best for you. All right, so this is how it would look with the whole entire year in here. From our shop, of course, different inserts are going to look different, but the thickness should be pretty consistent with what you see here. So this is already where we are. Okay, so we've got our inserts added, we've got our cover, we've got our discs, and it's looking real good right now, right? But it's still just a basic planner. It's just only got the calendar in there. And as we discussed earlier, there's lots of other sections that you may want to add to your planner to really give it that look and feel that you want, and then also make it as functional for you and your needs. So now that we've got the inserts in here, we want to go ahead and start determining what our sections are going to be. So these are our dashboard dividers here. We have them in A5 size. This is half letter size. We have them in mini size, and we also have them in classic size. So I'm going to pull these out, and you're going to do the same thing that you just saw me do there in terms of adding them. So what I typically do is I'll go ahead and pull one out for calendar because I know that that's going to be my first section, and that's going to go first. So we already know that we need a calendar section. And remember, I talked with you guys in the video about some ideas on what you could use for your planner sections and what you could include in those planner sections. So you'll want to sit down again and write that out before you start adding any labels or anything to these dividers. All right, so we know that this is calendar section, and then we have to figure out what our next section is going to be. And that also depends on the amount of tabs that you have. Also, you may not want to section it like I mentioned earlier. You may just want to section it by the month. Now, if you grab a Happy Planner or some of the other planners we discussed earlier, they're already going to have the tabs in there for you. Now, of course, if it's coil bound, you can't move it around, you can't remove it unless you hack it. There are hacks out there, but if you do have the Happy Planner, you can move those in and out of your planner. And so that way, if you just want 3 months and then you want to have other things throughout your planner, there are tabs and things that you can purchase from Happy Planner that aren't quite like this. They have the top tabs, or I'm sure you can find something out there on the market that you can kind of have a hybrid look, because that's what you would have to do. You'd be taking bits from here and bits from there. Now this is going to be all Fancy Plans Co. shop stuff, which means that it's going to stay consistent in terms of the look, but you can by any means pick some inserts up from us or from Happy Planner or from other companies and just put it all together, and that is what we call Franken planning. And this is Franken planning as well, but that is on another level because you're taking different things from different companies and putting it all together as one. And so now that we have our dividers in, we have to determine what sections we want if we don't want it to go by the month. Now, if you do want it to go by the month, then of course you'll have to go through each and every month and slide a divider in. All right, so here are your labels. We have different types of labels in the shop that can be printed on glossy, matte, or clear. This is clear. And clear is going to work best for these dividers because it's going to allow you to be able to have a seamless look. So the best way to add the labels to your divider tabs are with tweezers. So again, we talked about the first section being a calendar section. All right, and you just eyeball it. Very easy. All right, so we've got the first one on there. So as you can see, very clean looking. And trust me, even if you start here and you are more of a vibrant person, because of the neutrality of the pages and everything, it's going to make it easier for you to really jazz it up with some color. I think neutral is just the wave of the future because it just gives you a basic starting point, and then you can take other things and really customize it and get the color scheme down the way you want it. So the next section, we have lots of options here. Let's just say home. Remember, I'm just doing a little mock setup. I already have my planner set up, but I want to show you from start to finish how easy it is to set up your first planner. So that's home. And let's say the next section is finances. And then let's say we want to do fitness. And we've got 2 more, so just be mindful that you only have a certain number depending on what you purchased. And so you want to strategize and map everything out before you just start putting the labels on here. And the beauty of having it like this is that later on, if you decide that these sections don't work for you, you can literally just pull the sticker off there and then add whatever sticker you feel like is going to work best for you. So that's why I love this whole assembling things from start to finish, because you have lots more flexibility in how you set it up. And then also, if anything changes, you can just change it yourself. You don't have to go out and buy a brand new planner. All right, so I've got the final label on the tab. As you can see, it looks so pretty. So pretty. Those pages, neutral pages, are just life. I mean, it's just really pretty. And again, it's just a simple planner setup, okay? All right, but you set it up so you know that right now, at least at this stage in your life, is going to work for you. And again, we change up as needed. So you've got your cover, you've got your discs, you know what inserts you're going to use for the year. You've got your subjects here, either by month or by specific subject. And later on in this video, we'll talk about categories and how you can get them specific in terms of what you need and some things that you can include within certain sections. So now everything else from this point is just about decor. So we could take some vellum. Again, this is my own personal choice. I love grid, and I like sticking it at the beginning of my planner so that way I could have just a little pop of something. You could either put it before the divider tab, or you could put it right here before the subject of the calendar section, but I think I'm going to put it right here. All right, and this is a great quality vellum. It's very thick. It's not like your typical flimsy vellum that you've seen. So now when I close my planner cover, I can see a little something on the outside. And so that kind of serves as my cover, but still just gives me that clean look. All right, so you'd put your vellum in if you decide to go with vellum. These are all just accessories that are add-ons that you could use to really get that planner jazzed up. So let's say you also, on a different tab, want to add a pocket. You've got multiple options here. Let's say in the finance section, you want to add some receipts. You could insert in a zipper pouch and be able to put in all of your receipts inside of this little envelope here. It's really cool. It's got a little zipper here, so you literally can stick in whatever you need to stick in and then zip it up, and it stays right here in your planner. And so let's say you want to add some recipes, maybe some recipe cards to your home section. You can use one of these folders and tuck it right on in the home section, and maybe stick some recipe cards in there so that you already have them ready to go when you get ready to do your cooking for the week. This is a really pretty pocket. It's clear on both sides. It's got a pocket, and it's great for you to be able to put in those essential things. It doesn't have to be recipe cards. It can be whatever you decide. So that would be in the home section. And then keep in mind also, when you're creating this planner, you're going to fill it with lots of fill paper. So I'm not going to show that on this video because we have a variety. I mean, we have so many, too many to count and name. And so you will just go shop our website or shop other websites. The Happy Planner does not have half letter, by the way, just in case you're wondering. They have mini Happy Planner, they have skinny mini, they have classic size, they have skinny classic, they have big size, and I think that's it. If I'm forgetting something, pardon me. So they don't have half letter size, so just keep that in mind. So if you're going to get some of these accessories, they may not be available for the size that you choose if that's the route that you go. So keep that in mind as well. So let's also say that you want to just have a dashboard of sorts. There are tons of different dashboards out there, again with the neutral, right? So these are our frosted dashboards. It could be cardstock, it could be vellum like I showed you earlier. Divider dashboards are considered dashboards, I said it in the name. So basically a dashboard is something where you can stick some things to it, and that way you can display something that you want to see right in front of you. So you're going to decide where you want it. So let's say I wanted it, I mean, you could put it, what I would probably do is put it during that particular week. So I would look, let's say this is the week that we're on, or the month. Okay, and you want it to have some to-do list reminders. They also have divider dashboards like this that have a little tab at the top that may say today. So that way you could use this as your today page marker. But this is just a way for you to display anything that you want to display. So you could take your paper clips and you could pin a journaling card to it if you want it. And you can pin that right there at the top. All right, that would be super pretty. Or you could have a pocket folder like this in this size that you could stick right on here, which we'll do. And so that way you could tuck in some other things. Now what I like to do is different things. You could either stick it like this, you could stick it like this, you could cut it like a little pocket, you know, like I showed you that we popped in that larger size, and tuck things in there like that. There's so many different ways you can use these adhesive pockets, but I typically just will stick it right on here, and I try to go from the edge because that gives you a great starting point and make sure that you get it flush. They're very easy to add on, and then you can stick other things inside of this pocket. So let's say you had a notepad that you want to keep within that week of your planner. You could literally stick it right there, and you have a whole notebook situation, a notepad within your planner. So that is the beauty of adhesive pockets. You can even take a sticky note set and pop that in there if you just want to have it with you. You could stick it in there fully like that, or you could flip up the back like I did with the notepad and stick it in here like this. There is so many different sizes of adhesive pockets, so you'll have to just look at the measurements to make sure that you're getting what you need. But I love, love, love sticky adhesive pockets, especially if you don't want to invest in some of your pocket folders out there. They can get quite pricey. These I consider very reasonable, and these are a great option. So you could, of course, just go this route, but if you just want a little adhesive pocket to stick to a dashboard, or you could even stick the adhesive pocket to the divider dashboard as well, then that is a great option, and it's super inexpensive. So last up, just for this basic setup, is you're going to need a pin loop. So typically you're going to do one of two things. You're going to stick it to the outside cover right here. Sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. In this case it will, because the cover is a little more wider than the actual inserts end. So this would work great. You could also take the divider dashboard that I showed you just recently, just now, and put that in the back, and you could stick the pin loop to that. Or you could stick it right on the divider dashboard. You could stick it pretty much anywhere that it will allow you to stick, but the best option is going to be the back cover. Now, if you're like me and you like to have multiple pins, you could stick it at the bottom, stick one at the top. You could stick it on the front cover. It's completely up to you with how you do this, but you'll definitely need a pin loop because you want to make sure that you have a place to store your pin. So you'll literally just peel it off on the back side, and then make sure it's even. Sometimes what I'll also do, just to make sure as I put my pin, which is the next thing that you want to make sure that you have. I love this Muji pin in 0.7. I've had lots of different pin looks throughout the year, and this pin is super easy to slide in and out of the pin loop, although others are as well, but it goes with the aesthetic, so you'll probably want to consider that. But the main thing is, does it write good? That's the main thing that you want to consider. So sometimes I'll just kind of let part of it stick down just so I can make sure that it's on there. And then I'll close up my planner just to see how it's going to work. Okay, because I don't want it to stick out too far, but I also don't want it to be too far in where it's crumpling up the divider tabs. All right, I think that may work. Sometimes if I stick it down too quick and I don't want it to be in that location, I'll put my fingernail there to mark it, and then I'll just move my finger just a little bit over just so I know that it needs to just be a little bit further off. Okay, and there you have it, your pin loop. So everything is here. We've got all of the usual suspects. The foundation is completed. And so the next thing you'll do is build from here. So you may want to add stickers. You may want to add more vellum. You may want to add more divider tabs. There are other things that you want to add to really jazz this thing up. This is just your basic setup with just your calendar inserts and a couple of embellishments here and there. And this is a great option for those of you guys who really want to customize your planner. Discbound is just that system that makes that possible. And also hole punch. When you have 6 hole punch here for either A5 size, personal size, A6 size, anything where the inserts come standalone like this, that is a great option, and it allows you to customize as well. I just prefer this way because the pages are easier to come out. With these, you have to either open the ring or you have to cut slits in the holes to make it hacked to get the pages out. And remember, with this system, you do need a separate cover, and those typically come in leather and they get a little bit pricey. So you'll want to consider that as well. For the disc-bound system, you can pretty much find anything at any price point. And that's why I feel like it's so popular right now. So in addition to the customizability of it, it's relatively inexpensive. So I wanted to definitely show you guys a sample of how I would set up a planner just on that basic level and just to get you started. And of course, you're going to want to add more to it over time to really get it set up the way you want it. But this is a great starting point. And so just take bits and pieces of what I shared with you and then use things that are going to work for you and they're going to make things aesthetically pleasing to your eye. So that way you'll want to pick that planner up and use it on a daily basis. So step 3, decide what you're tracking in your planner. You may already have an idea of what you want to keep track of, but writing it all down will help you better organize your planner and create a system that will work for you. So start by making a list of everything you need to keep track of. Then start grouping them by category, and these categories end up becoming your dividers. So here are the most common categories people use in their planners. So calendar schedule, which is going to encompass appointments and events, finances like spending, bills, online orders, debt savings tracker, income budgets, wish lists, etc. Then meal planning, which is going to be your weekly meal, your recipe ideas, your home section, which is going to include projects, organizing, decluttering, a family section, which may have cleaning lists, anniversary, kids info, spouse's schedule, children's schedule, school schedule, work schedules, vacations. You may even have a goal subject, which includes to-do lists, action items, projects, timeline. A health and fitness section may be beneficial, which will include exercise trackers, meal planners, grocery lists, weight measurements, a tracker, food log, mood logs, headache symptoms tracker, period tracker, fertility tracker, medicine tracker. There's so many things you can include in this section. You may also have a personal section with a makeup list, ideas, morning, evening routines, habits, gratitude, affirmations, maybe a bucket list, books to read, TV shows, movies, family activities. Those are all things that you can include in your personal section. And then maybe you have school-age kids, so you'll want to have a school section, which may have teachers' info, tests, homework, grades, school schedules, volunteer opportunities, PTA, field trips. And if you don't have a separate work business planner, you'll want to develop a section within your main planner for brainstorming ideas, lists, business income, expenses, trackers, stats, analytics, mileage logs, passwords. Those are all great ideas. I also like to include a brain dump section for notes and random ideas, a self-care section for personal self-care routine and ideas, and a faith section for Bible study and faith-based material. Now, where will these sections go, right? If it's gonna be used most, I suggest putting it right in front of your planner. I like to see my calendar and schedule first to keep track of all of my appointments, and this is gonna be different for everybody, so set it up the way you know will work for you. So if you've never seen my planner setup before, we're gonna head back over to my overhead setup so that I can give you a quick flip through of my planner and you can see how I have things structured. So these are the sections that are really working great for me right now. I have a total of 12 sections in my planner. So I've got calendar, home, meal plan, family, finances, health as the first 6, and then the next 6, faith, school, personal, self-care, brain dump, and lists. So these are what are currently working for me. So again, you'll have to decide based on some of the things that I shared that you can include in those subjects, what is going to work best for you. So in my first section here, which is the calendar section, I do have a ton of things before the calendar section, like my at a glance pages, a folder, my name vellum, some other vellum, and just decorative things, as well as the previous month's calendar. But I keep the current month's calendar in here, and I just keep 1 month because that's just what works for me. I like so many other things in my planner that I don't want all of those months to bulk things up. So I keep just calendar inserts in my calendar section. Then I have the home section. Within my home section, I keep various things like the paint swatches for the house. I keep some random notepads in here within a pocket folder. I also love keeping this cleaning challenge here. My cleaning schedules are housed in here. And that is just the first part of my home section. We get to meal planning, which is considered part of the home as well, but it's in a completely separate section just because I like to break things down. But I keep my meal planner in here, my at a glance meal planner pages, then my actual meal planner with my recipe inserts stay in here as well. And that is all that stays in the meal planning section. I do also have like ideas and things like that on recipes and meals to make. And so that all stays there. Then we get to family. I keep routines in here. I'm not going to flip through this whole thing. I'm just kind of sharing with you some ideas on what you can include in your sections. Then the finance section is just my bill calendar. You can keep anything from trackers to bill pay trackers to just random fill paper to jot in some expenses, some expense inserts. Again, there's a ton of companies out there who definitely have what you need. So just find the insert that speaks to you with what you want to track and add that within the section. Again, we talked about having a divider with a pocket. So that's what I've got there. And I just stuck a notepad insert in there. And then this is the health section. I just like to track my blood pressure. And that's pretty much all that I track in this section. But again, there's so many other ideas of things that you can add there. Then I got fitness. You can lump them all up into one if you want health and fitness to be all one section. Within here, I have my fitness planner. And then I also keep some exercises that I want to try and just random notes on how I can improve for my fitness. I have some foods and things like that I want to make sure that I keep track of and are authorized for me to eat, depending on what diet I'm doing. Then we get to faith. I just keep some random things to keep me inspired faith-wise, and also my schedule. Then the school section is where I keep Addison's schedule for her class, teacher information. I keep the school schedule, the calendar for the entire year. And then in personal, it's just things I want to do for myself personally, whether that be books I want to read, some affirmations I enjoy, my goals. I keep all of that here. Then I've got self-care, which I am working on a routine for, but I have some self-care inserts in here. I'll be doing a video on my channel showing you guys that, by the way. A calendar, some vitamin regimen ideas, skincare regimen ideas, all about self-care is included in this section. Then brain dump is where I just literally dump out all of my ideas. I need a place to be able to let it out, and then I schedule accordingly. Lastly is lists. I'm a list maker, so I just like to dump random lists here. Then we have a notes section with fill paper. So that's how my planner is structured. Again, that is going to look different from you, and it may not be as thick. But remember, I showed you guys how to set up a planner, and it started very thin, and then it ends up something like this. And this is the way that you want it set up. Doesn't have to be as chunky as this is, but you want to have all of those sections and things within those sections that's going to help you most. Only include the essentials, so that way you could start tracking all of the things that you need to track and stay on track with those tasks. So I definitely wanted to share with you guys how mine is set up, and you can just take bits and pieces from my setup that work for you and implement them in your planner setup. But ultimately, this is going to be up to you and what you feel like is going to work best for you. So step 4 is to gather schedules. Think through everything you're juggling and get the dates in front of you. So don't forget things like trips and vacations, health and fitness, appointments. Maybe you have doctor's appointments, dentists, hair, nails, all of those things. Even social events like family outings, date nights, faith-based events. Also membership schedules like clubs and groups. Maybe nonprofit events and volunteer schedules. How about school schedules, yours and your kids, and the events associated with those, sports schedules and other after school activities. Also your work schedule and maybe even your spouse's schedule. Those are all things that you'll want to go ahead and gather. And step 5 is to review your goals. So think over the goals you set for yourself this year. Ideally, you'll have them written somewhere so you can pull them out and review them. So whether you started this year with a list of big and small goals or not, consider which activities, habits, relationships, etc. have been working for you and which haven't. This process is about reflecting and refreshing to ensure you're being intentional about the way you spend your time and the goals you're pursuing. And before working on the weekly schedule pages, it's good to make a list of any goals or tasks that need to be done this month. This can be added to the monthly calendar, followed by more details added to the weekly schedule. Step 6 is to review your priorities. In addition to setting your goals, you'll also be reviewing your priorities. While things like family will always remain at the top of your priority list, you may find that other things have shifted. When new projects, tasks, and opportunities arise, you'll want to think about where they fall on your own personal list of priorities. So where do I want to be focusing my time at this point in my life? What's most important? What new habits have stuck? What old habits have been harder to break? And what's next? What can I add, if anything, to best support me and my personal and professional developments in the remaining months of 2021? Carve out time to figure out what stays, what goes, and what your next steps are. And the final step is to write down everything. It's the time to fill it all in. You have arrived at the most exciting part of the process, in my opinion. So get those events, outings, trips, and much more onto paper and see how it all lays out. Incorporate your lists, your tasks, and notes as needed. Visualize your upcoming days, weeks, and months. Finally, admire your work. Notice your clear mind and get started. I can't wait for you to see the difference in focus and productivity, allowing more time for what truly matters. So that's it, guys. Those are my 7 tips to set up your planner for success so that you'll actually use it. That's the key. You want to use your planner, especially after you put in all of this work to get it set up all nicely. You want to make sure that you actually put it to use so that it can help you achieve all of the goals you want to achieve. So thank you guys so much for watching today. I appreciate you stopping by my channel to catch this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it so much so that you'll give me a thumbs up on the video. You'll subscribe to my channel if you're new here. We have more planner videos coming for this series, Planner University. So of course we want you to come back by and catch more of those videos, in which case we'll see you then.